This will be covering the location for Forza Horizon 6, a question a lot of people have been tossing around the community as of late, as the release date for Forza Horizon 6 is seemingly crawling closer and closer, with some people being quite optimistic assuming it could be coming towards the end of 2024, whereas others thinking the release date will of course be reserved for 2025. Forza Horizon 6 will be one of the biggest releases in Forza history, with the stakes being pretty high. The reason I say that is because as each Forza Horizon game has came out, gradually the game has got a lot bigger, and therefore the overall stakes that come with the game's release. For example, Forza Horizon 4 did around 1 million players first week, Forza Horizon 5 was over 10 million, of course with the inclusion of the Game Pass, and they imagine that Forza Horizon 6 could be even larger. Now in terms of where, I've made videos talking about the potential likelihood for it to be able to come to Brazil, Japan, Dubai, Germany, and even other places I haven't included in that little list, but what seems to be the most probable map as of now is going to be China, and I'll be talking about exactly why. Now comment down below your thoughts on where you want to see the game. Overall, it seems the biggest and most popular places the community wants to see Forza Horizon 6 located is of course Japan, quite drastically. A lot of other people want to see it in Germany, and that's not too surprising given the potential of the Autobahn. However, we've seen Forza in the past quite consistently stray away from what the community actually want to see. I mean, Forza Horizon 4 in the UK wasn't something a lot of the community was saying. Some people wanted it to happen and it did happen. Forza Horizon 5 Mexico was definitely extremely random. Not to say it isn't a good map, it just didn't exactly seize what the community was looking for at that particular time. Now, as of late, it's been more and more apparent that Forza are trying to build a relationship with the Chinese demographic. They've been adding a huge number of Chinese cars to the game as of late, including cars like Neo EP9, the Wuling, the Chinese custom car pack we saw lately, the MG, MG3, the MG X-Power, the Xpeng, and of course we've seen the Chinese Lunar New Year updates for quite a couple of years now. It's evident that trying to forge a relationship with China manufacturers for the sake of being able to get licensing for all of these cars, and particularly if Forza Horizon 6 will be in China, this will definitely be needed. In terms of China as a potential release location, there's a massive demographic for China as a game, so it's not that surprising that Forza are trying to adapt to their community a little bit. In fact, we've seen that Forza has made entirely custom updates just for Chinese players alone, as they actually operate on an entirely different version of the game, just like we see in like games like CSGO and CS2, where Chinese players play their own variant without blood, skulls, different alterations to the game to align with the overall Chinese laws. Now, unlike our Series 32, Series 31, Series 33 Horizon Festival updates, we've seen full Chinese updates with different sort of events, such as custom Chinese painting competitions that we don't get to play, as well as leaked updates being sent to Chinese players before anybody else, which is actually what spiraled a lot of speculation about a third sort of DLC map expansion coming to Forza, as there were some in-game animations about Chinese players that two Chinese players that when translated implied there could be an additional map expansion. Now, in terms of a location, Forza needs to suffice a few categories. Now, for a Forza map, it needs to be pretty diverse in terms of biomes. It can't be super plain, it can't be just a desert, and there needs to be very good roads and a general sort of integrated car scene. Now, in terms of location, China is a huge geographical area with super diverse biomes and pretty cool roads as well. And I'll start to show some images on screen of an example of what Forza in China could look like. It looks pretty insane and definitely does look like it could definitely suffice the sort of roads and general map that people would want to see from Forza. There are a lot of cool cities and a lot of cool driving roads, super long and wide highways that would definitely suffice. Hopefully we just don't get much of that Beijing traffic. So these kind of custom photos could definitely provide an insight on what China could look like. A lot of inspiration could come from these different sort of cities that all come together for these photos. And another thing that could be interesting is Singapore and Hong Kong, both the massive Chinese populace that also suffices what the Chinese population as well as the Forza map would require. As like I said before, Forza are evidently trying to satisfy or accommodate to the Chinese demographic before, and being in Singapore and Hong Kong would definitely do so successfully. I guess there are a lot of sort of maps that they could take into account. It could even be a combination of multiple, but that could get a little bit complex, but China is definitely on the cards for Forza Horizon 6, as Forza are clearly trying to grow their Chinese audience, as of course I've referenced. Now comment down below if you guys think this is likely. I might make another video talking about features we want to see in Forza Horizon 6, so stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe, and check out the Forza modded accounts at MitchCactus.com.